Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today we're gonna do something almost entirely unheard of on this channel, which is scaling it back. Less is more, meaning I am not looking to cover up my skin entirely. I am not looking to wear 5 different shades of shadow with a big wing liner. You know, there's a time and a place for that, and sometimes for me that's Tuesday afternoon, but sometimes I just want to be a little more minimal. And a lot of you guys want to know, how can you incorporate a few glamorous techniques, just a little dash of wow factor into a very natural looking makeup look? That makes sense, right? I hear this from women in my life all of the time, and that's what inspired this video is, you know, I love makeup and I love looking at it and I love this, but like, I don't want to look like I'm wearing a lot of it. And I keep hearing that in the real world with, you know, I'm thinking of like the moms and business women that are like off to work and don't have a ton of time, and they just want to feel just like freshened up. And I love that. So I'm going to share my every secret on how I like to still sculpt the face. I still do a little bit contouring. I still highlight. I still juice up the lips and make things look glowy and perfect and just like pretty. So the first thing that we are going to do is prime. Now I still double prime even on my natural skin days, natural makeup days. I'm going into Tatcha and I am just taking this on the forehead here because I like to soften up my skin a little bit right before I go into foundation. I have a little bit of bronzer on the face just because I took it up from my body. I was doing like a body bronze on my shoulders and chest, and I took the brush just a little bit up the neck and right here. So if you see any bronzer on my face, that's what that is. Sometimes I do that. So the next thing we're gonna do, of course, is go into a pore filling primer. I love the Tarte one, you guys know that. And I'm gonna take it on my fingertip and almost press and dab it into the skin, only on the areas that I think really need help. Mainly around my nose is where I feel like foundation collects. These lines right here. This area, I really like to prime because I like to use a soft, little bit of a satin finish reflect in powders. And if you have so much texture in this region, it really shows up. So it's almost a nice way to, in advance, make sure that that's not gonna happen. So we are now gonna go in with foundation, and I thought I would share with you guys. I have in my Z palette these little to-go little jars, and I am so obsessed with this. I love the concept of it. I love traveling with, of course, hello, here's my Tati Beauty Textured Neutrals Volume 1. I have some of my favorites stacked up here, and I can always create like a very glamorous or natural look with those. I have a liquid highlighter, I have my contour, I have a very powerful concealer that I am also gonna be using, but I thought I would show that to you guys just because I keep, even out here on my vanity, using this because it's so much easier than all of these bottles everywhere, and I'm just hooked on it. I don't know, I really love the convenience of this. So now what I'm gonna do is dot the face, but really the goal, my friends, like I am barely gonna get anything on the forehead. We're keeping it light. We are not aiming to cover everything up. This is the L'Oreal Infallible that I am using. I love it so much. And it spreads out nice and evenly and easily. Sometimes foundations that are a little bit thicker in texture, you will have a hard time pulling on the forehead or down to the jawline because it just won't move. This one gives you a lot of movement. You can blend it very evenly and easily, and you don't have to use a lot. I'm guilty of using too much foundation. It's just because for convenience factor and the way that I know that foundation looks on camera with these lights and everything, it always looks great. Maybe not out in natural direct sunlight. The truth mirror is in the car. You want to see how things are really doing? Just flip down the visor in your car and take a peek. So my skin is looking very, very fresh. I don't feel like I have much on it. I really love how this feels. What I want to do to give you guys an option, I'm going to give you 2 options. Take an itty bitty brush. This is a ELO 75. Normally you would use this to kind of smudge shadow underneath the eye. What I'm gonna recommend using a smaller, more precise tapered brush like this for is spot concealing on the face, but using a foundation or a concealer that is the same shade as your foundation. Now, a lot of us go a step up with our concealer, and that's great for underneath the eye and for highlighting. I always have a foundation and a concealer that match. So this is my Dermacol, and I love it. And what I do is I actually go on the palette, and just to make sure that they really are matching, I will actually mix the foundation and this super intense concealer together. So you'll see I'm just gonna go like this, like a magic eraser on the face. I just covered up my #1 sun damage spot that I've had forever. Now we've already evened out the skin, and all we're doing now is erasing the bits that I wanna erase. And it's gonna make the skin look even more even, but trick the eye because it doesn't look like there is a ton of product on the face. And once I have it kind of pressed in, I'll go over and kind of fan the brush back and forth, blend out any edges outside of the pigment that I'm covering. The next thing that I want to do is a slight light contour. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys are like, less is more, Tati, you're bananas. What's wrong with you? Why are you using so much? This is not less is more. This is going to be a less is more look. It doesn't mean that it's no effort. It's just the end result does not look too overdone. So I'm going to go into my Chanel. Okay, so I'm just going really on the perimeter. I'm going to brush up. And I'm doing this step specifically with a brush so I can keep it nice and light and not pick up too much product. Again, you can get a lot of product evenly and quickly distributed using your beauty blender. And I think it looks nice if you're going for full glam, but if you're going for a lighter type of a vibe, use a brush. Because you can lay down and stipple the color. You can then go back and swirl. And if you have to, you can go on top of it and smooth those edges with your beauty blender. I'm gonna go in a little bit harder with a more pigmented contour right after we finish blending this out. And then I'm gonna do concealer. Now you can switch around those steps, but I really like seeing how even I can get the skin and how the skin is behaving and acting and how blended everything is. And then I like to do the brightening because it shows me just how far I can push the highlight and brightness without it looking kind of crazy. Even with a bronzer, you want the most pigmentation to be furthest from the middle of your face. Light here, and it fans a little bit darker, that's gonna be the most flattering. Now you can still take it up on the cheeks if you want that like sunshiny kind of where the sun hits you bronze type of a look, but make sure that you have a little bit of an ombre type effect back here that's really going to balance you out. Okay, let's go to one of my favorites, the RCMA palette, and another favorite, the Luxie/JD collaboration. I'm going to grab a little bit of a darker shade here on the smaller end and outline the lips. Now the lips are something that I want to look so good. I'm gonna put a little bit of effort into them and not a lot of effort into my eyes. Okay, I'm gonna do the same. Just kind of stripe it down the nose and do my contour. I am now going to take the other side of this brush and with nothing on it, I'm gonna very gently and carefully buff. And you notice I use a stippling motion followed by a buffing motion a lot of the time. I find that that technique works really nicely so that you're not constantly rubbing makeup everywhere. You're really making sure that you're pressing it into the skin and then following it with a little bit of a buff so that you don't see those harsh lines. Okay, now with a little bit of foundation, I'm just stamping in here ever so slightly and lightly. There's really not much on here. I'm going to kind of bounce the fatter end of my sponge on my nose. I'm gonna do the same thing over the lips. I love the way that my skin looks when I do this. It's so good. Okay, Moving into concealing the under eye area. Wow, I love this concealer. The technology in here is meant to snap back into place even through facial expression. So you're smiling, you're laughing, and the lines right here will kind of not crease and cake. Same with the under eye area, and it's really like, it works. I really like the foundation. I wanted to give you guys a look at how a drugstore option worked with this whole less is more routine, but that is one of the foundations that is solidly in my rotation, and I did a full day wear test on it, and I'm so happy that I did because it's one of my absolute favorites now. So if you want to watch that video, I will link it below. But for now, we're just gonna play with the concealer today, and I'm just gonna kind of hit the inner and outer and then blend it out. I'm not doing the full, like we're feeling modest, you know? Well, maybe just a little bit. Okay, gonna take my beauty blender, the pointy side that does not have anything on it at this point, and I'm gonna start stamping, and I am gonna bring it up to kind of the center of the nose a little bit. I don't like it when there's a start and stop here, and that means that I might have to go back through and graze the nose to make sure the contour is still there and visible and not completely covered up. But don't be afraid to really blend into this corner. It's such a nice technique to really brighten everything right up. I'm gonna go underneath the eye and set with a little bit of Covergirl Advanced Radiance in number 110. I'm gonna, no, you are my favorite. No. I'm having issues. You guys, I love this thing. Artist Easel Pro. I'm obsessed. And I have all my fun little brushes, my little brush family here, except for sometimes if you jam it in too hard. Look what I just did. Bad Tati. I'll just go into the craft closet and whap out my glue gun. Or I'll just do that. Yeah. Okay. So I've had this brush forever. This is the Clover brush. I don't even know what this one is called, but it's one of my favorites to just kind of go underneath the eye, which is exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm going to dip in on the side. I'm not dipping in straight here. I'm actually getting the product on the side of the brush, and I'm just gonna look up and really get up in that corner and stamp it back and forth and set all of that concealer. I'm gonna kind of stick in the middle of the face, go down here, get on the chin, right in here. And I'm not really gonna powder the rest of the face because I wanna look natural. I'm not cakey. You have to really settle into the idea, if you're doing this style of makeup, that it's not gonna look totally perfect, but that's on purpose because we're human and we have pores and texture and discoloration. Sometimes you just need to embrace the little things about you that might not be totally symmetrical, that might be a little uneven, that might kind of poke through your natural oils, all of that. It just looks, I personally think, really sexy and effortless sometimes to see some of the real deal. You know, you can do fun things like outlining your lips or a little nose contour or whatever you think you need to make you feel better and more pulled together. But if you could have that combo of kind of pulling back and being like, I'm not gonna over powder everywhere. I'm gonna let my skin just breathe and look like skin and just be. I think it's such a beautiful, beautiful look. Never have I been into it the way I am now. I forever have been just like the full coverage queen. And now I'm like, I just want my skin to shine. Okay, so I'm gonna go into a bronzer from Pure. I love this bronzer because it does not apply blotchy and it builds. This is the light and it's matte, but it has kind of that slip because it is a mineral bronzer where you're gonna get a little bit of a subtle satin finish. And the nice thing when you're bronzing up the face with a product like this, you are still setting the cream products underneath it, but it's just one layer instead of powder and then bronzer, you know what I'm saying? And then contour and this and that. Now we're gonna go into just the tiniest bit of cream blush. I bet you can't guess what I'm gonna use. I love this stuff, it's so good. Boom, boom. At first it can look a little bit like, whoa, oh my God. Just keep kind of stamping and buffing out. This stuff really melts right into the skin. So I don't want to say that it's totally goof proof, but it's pretty close. Desperately need some brows. While I'm putting on my brows, I'm going to kind of nourish my lips a little bit. I'm going to take a little bit of balm. This is from Fresh. This is the caramel one. And I'm just going to kind of let them hydrate and let this soak in. I will be wiping it off before I go into lip liner. But sometimes, you know, when I remember to do this trick, I obviously love it. Just makes your lips a little bit prettier, fuller, because if you can get those lines hydrated and more plump, your lips are just gonna look nicer. I actually finally repurchased a ColourPop brow pencil that I have been so obsessed with in the past, except for whatever reason, I'm so lazy about ordering products online. I don't know why. I feel like I'm inconvenienced to like put in my, you know, credit card number and the address and the different address and this and that. Like, I don't know why. I just always am like, oh, whatever. I'll just pick it up in the store later. I finally went to Ulta and I saw that they had the brow products there from ColourPop and I'm like, ugh, I need them all. This one is the dark brown. I think I used to use, no, this one is ash brown. I used to use the medium brown. But the formula on this, what I like about it is that it's very much almost like a kohl pencil. It has kind of a powdery texture, which really allows you to kind of make those really like beautiful strokes where it looks like an actual brow hair, but it's that thin itty bitty tip that allows you to do that. Okay, so something that you need to do when you are doing lighter makeup, because I'm barely gonna do anything to the eyes, what you really need to focus on with your brows is not swiping color everywhere, which I, again, am totally guilty of. If I want to darken up the framing of my eye and I know I'm going to do big, huge lashes and big makeup, I need to go in a little bit harder and heavier because that's what balances all of that out. But if you're not going to have all the eye makeup there and it's a little fresher and lighter, you don't need to paint this in. Just kind of do these strokes like this and work on the shape, brush up, repeat, and that's it. All right, I am using that smaller brush to kind of make sure that everything surrounding the brow is nice and blended and that none of the foundation has moved. Just kind of doing a little bit of a check here. Before we get to the eyes, I actually do want to get to the lips really quickly. I am going to take the Undressed lip liner from Dose of Colors. Now I want to make sure that I wipe off the balm. I still have my contours like on that outside. Don't worry, I didn't rub that off. I am going to outline and fill in. Now I'm going to take the shade Nitty Gritty and I'm going to go a little bit more in. I like to change up the shape of my lip a little bit while still making them look full, and this is just how I like to do it. So I kind of go just right in a little bit. And I almost go up, like right in here. See, I'm putting that dark right here and it kind of makes it look like it's pressed back like this. And then it makes this look so much fuller. Love. Okay, now what we are going to do is take a peachy lipstick. I'm taking Nudist from Lorac. Now I am gonna go out of the tube, but I am not gonna swipe. I'm just gonna go pat, 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 pat. So really there's not a lot of thickness, texture, cream on the lips at all. It's just this very teeny tiny amount. I'm gonna go in with the shade Please Me from MAC. And I'm just gonna kind of fan this more so in the center of the lip. And you can even go back again. I just think that looks really nice. It looks so effortless, even though there's a lot of effort, you know, like there's like 5 steps to getting your lips to look like this. Again, this is less of a look, still a lot of effort. Okay, moving on to the eyes, which actually is gonna be very minimal effort. So we do save time here. What we're gonna do is go ahead and pat on a little bit of primer. I'm using, of course, Painterly Paint Pot, just to make sure we are canceling out any discoloration. You could use your concealer. You don't have to use this specific one. So many of you guys had wanted to know what was on my eyes in the video that I did with my sisters. And actually, I think I was wearing this one. I really love the look of just wearing one glitter and having it kind of go through and just like sets the eyes off, and there's literally no framing. There's nothing else going on. It's easy as can be. Now, using a cosmetic glitter on the eyes is your call. Glitters are not intended for use in the eyes. Don't put this in your waterline. Don't rub it around where you're gonna get the flakes in your eyes. Do it safely, use it safely. You know, you can just use this kind of a glitter on the body and be like really crazy with it. You can use it on the cheeks, you could highlight. I really love using glitter on my eyes. Kind of a rebellious move, I know, but you can do it safely. So make sure you are not rubbing, make sure you are pressing. If you find it helpful, you can use a glitter glue. Sometimes that will help. I like applying this right after a creamier eye base, and I feel like that helps it to stick. And then I also use a setting spray, which further will help everything to just kind of lock right in. I have this set up on my finger. This is Soothe, and it's one of my favorites as far as this kind of a like just really simple, beautiful, not too wild, crazy type of a glow that it will give your eyes. And you can use this with a cool tone look, a warm tone look. Really, it kind of meshes with everything, which is why I'm using this one today. I'm gonna tilt my head back, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm not getting too close to the lash line, again, because you don't want the glitter to get in your eyes. Now, this is not craft glitter that is cut large and sharp. It is, you know, more of a rounded cosmetic glitter, but it's still glitter. So, you know, you don't want it to get in your eye. I'm kind of pressing, pulling, pressing, lightly pulling. Don't tug hard at the delicate skin on your eye. But look at that. Is that not so fun? And it almost looks just wet and really pretty. And the way this is formulated, you have such minimal fallout. It really locks in and stays on the eye. It does not go anywhere. It is there until you remove it. And I want to suggest that you use an oil remover. Take a cotton round, saturate that cotton with it, put it on. I like to use kind of the heel of my hand and press it on the lid, let everything kind of soak, and then wipe it away like this with your eyes closed. Wipe away, do it again, flip the cotton over, wipe again, and repeat if necessary, and you're gonna have a nice time removing the glitter versus putting like a gel cleanser in your hand and like going like this. Not the best move. So I wanna make mention of that as well. Let's do up the other eye. And even if you do what I just did, which is kind of a mistake, I got a little bit on the face. I'm gonna take a brush and kind of just whisk it away a little bit. That literally was from my finger bumping my face and not the glitter falling down. But I always embrace it. I just think it looks so pretty and so just reflective, and I don't really care if it gets on me. I mean, maybe that's just me, but whew, I just love that so much. It's really satisfying. I love. From there, we need some mascara. So I'm gonna go in with this LA Girl Volumatic Lash Lifting Mascara. Surprise hit of the century. I really like this, affordable. It just kind of gets the job done fast, so why not? We need highlighter and a little spritz and we're good. I'm gonna use this Hourglass highlighter. I'm loving this right now. I'm gonna go in mainly with these two right here, the pinkier and the more yellow. And I'm just taking a brush from Milani and I'm literally just gonna find that high point and kind of pull it back toward my ear. I don't want highlight to get up in this region here. I wanna keep that pretty clean. and just have that like dewy glossy shine. So nice. Taking it on the nose, slightly above the brow because we want this to be kind of a very hydrated look. And I'm gonna take a little bit of Bioderma. I love the way that makeup looks once it is heated up on the skin. So my hack to that is to take a hairdryer, or in my case, my Dyson, and I will put whatever mist I am using to set the face first. The Smashbox Setting Spray Weightless is what I'm gonna go in with first. Again, don't use this every day of your life. It is a little bit on the drying side, heads up. So is the All Nighter by Urban Decay, but it will lock everything in nice and tight. So I'm gonna first go in with this and then kind of dry it off, and then go in with the Bioderma Hydrabio Mist. And that just does something. I don't exactly know why, but it just makes all of the powders, the creams, any color that you have put on the skin, when you drench the face to the point where it's almost like you stuck your face in a bucket of water, and then you kind of do a circular motion with heat. It just makes everything melt in, and the skin has this gorgeous reflection on it, but it's locked in and you're not gonna get any more oil pushed up to the top. It's almost like I have this top coat on my makeup and it's gonna stay like this all day. It's the best feeling. And this is my favorite go-to everyday makeup that is glamorous, that does have a lot of steps, but it is not overwhelming, and the look is so bordering effortless that you can wear this anywhere. You don't have to do the glitter. You could completely go with just eye primer and be out the door. Just focus on the skin, focus on a good lip look, and taking the time to shape things, blend things, and you're gonna have a look that has everybody asking, how did you do that? And I always love that when people are like, oh my gosh, why does your skin look so good? And, and then I can share tricks and tips, and it's a great feeling. I hope you guys enjoyed this very technical, get into technique and application type video instead of just a review. If you want more of these, please let me know. I'm so happy to do this. It's one of my most favorite things. And I love that I'm getting back into it. And I love that I now have this palette, which I'm filming this before the launch, you guys. If I'm just gonna, be totally transparent, this has been such a labor of love in so many ways beyond even the start date of this project, because I had envisioned this forever. I had the creative done. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew what I wanted to achieve. And I knew that it was so important for me to create my first color palette with everyone viewing in mind. And that just meant to me that I wanted it to be something all ages would love, that it would be glamorous yet not too intimidating, that it would have everything you needed for so many different looks, even though it is a very neutral tone. This is leaning on the warmer side, which is appropriate for this time of year and anyone like me that just loves warm tones. It's very flattering for so many eye colors, skin tones. It just has a richness to it that is really well thought through. My hands have been in product for 9 years now, trying everything, and I waited for the right time and right opportunity to do the best product. And I'm so proud of this. Anytime that you've seen any glitter on the eyes, this has been it. And if you want to see me do more looks with the palette, if you want these kind of broken down, even like a really crazy smoky eye or something like everyday mattes, just let me know what you want to see. I'm happy to do it. And I hope you guys are having a good one, whatever you are doing. I'm always sending you so much love. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for hanging out, and leave me comments below. Thumbs up the video if you liked it, and be sure to subscribe if you have not yet done that. Then go ahead and hit the bell icon and ring that bell. You will be notified of my upcoming videos. All right, that's it for today. I love you guys. I will see you in my next video. Mwah.